Welcome back to Enter Cheat Code, and today we're going to talk about how Microsoft Xbox saved indies. Microsoft is the reason that indie games are where they are today as it pertains to console gaming. Today, I am going to prove that to you. I have been gaming my entire life, and there was a point in time where I would scoff at the idea of indie games like some elitist snob. I was all about the AAA experience. Games that included groundbreaking visuals and were pushing the envelope like never before, as opposed to the indie experiences, which often rested on intense and subtle storytelling and relied heavily on artistic and unique visuals, as they lacked the budgets, manpower, and resources for the lifelike visuals we have come to expect from AAA games. It really wasn't until Microsoft launched their incredibly curated and well-marketed Summer of Arcade in 2008 that my mind was opened to these magical experiences. Experiences that would define some of my most special gaming moments of all time, but also some of my favorite games ever played. The thing is, I'm not alone in this closed-minded thinking. But Microsoft would go hard supporting indie developers, especially with Summer of Arcade being a thing from 2008 to 2013, but would also never stop supporting indie developers on their platform, with the same level of energy and commitment now being channeled into their incredibly successful gamepass program. Indies did not have mainstream success that they currently enjoy and deserve, at least with console gamers, until Microsoft paved the way. Today, we exist in a world where indie developers and studios are extremely well respected and have seen success like never before, with their games now selling millions of units. One recent example of this is Supermassive's most recent and best received title of all time, in the form of Hades. Hades has now sold millions of copies, and at this point has only been accessible on PC and Nintendo Switch, coming to the big boy consoles in mid-August. To illustrate my point further, not only do indie games enjoy massive financial success, but this game was nominated for nearly every video game award imaginable, including the most coveted of all, Game of the Year 2020. Now keep in mind, that is a year that included The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and many more incredible titles. In fact, I'm still blown away that this 2020 Game of the Year spot above The Last of Us 2. Then again, I did sink 400 hours into Hades, and I think it's worth noting that it's a single player experience. But for the purpose of this discussion, it's worth noting that Studio Supermassive introduction to console gamers was through 2011's Summer of Arcade, featuring their first game, 100,000 copies in its first year alone, and as of January 2015 has now sold 3 million copies across all platforms. I think the point has been well illustrated that indies are well respected, thriving, and seen as some of the best gaming experiences of all time. Who do we have to thank for that? We have Microsoft to thank for that. Summers were always historically an infamously dry period for gaming, but as previously mentioned, that would all change in 2008 with the birth of Xbox's Summer of Arcade. This would become the introduction to the world of indies to many, if not most, console gamers. Some of the most notable titles introduced through Summer of Arcade over the 5 years that the program existed were Jonathan Blow's incredible title known as Braid, which is one of my personal favorite games of all time. This puzzle platform that allowed you to manipulate time in various ways would sell 500,000 copies as of 2012, and as of 2016, generating over $4 million in revenue, which would be used to fund his next incredibly received game, The Witness. The Witness received a Metacritic score of 87, and I would like to add, it is the only game that has ever broken me.
To this day, to this day,
I have yet to complete it. But another notable title that launched in year one of Xbox's Summer of Arcade was Castle Crashers, Behemoth Studio creator of Alien Hominid. This was an incredible couch co-op experience that could be played with up to 4 players and this is a mouthful here, but it was a class-based 2D side-scroller beat 'em up with RPG elements. This is still one of my favorite couch co-ops of all time. It saw monumental success as a result of being featured on Xbox's Summer of Arcade, selling 5 million units. This studio would go on to make Battle Block Theater, which would be an Xbox exclusive, which saw also similar success. I would like to provide one more major success story that's not possible without Xbox's Summer of Arcade. One that would play a pivotal role in indie developers seeing the success they do today, which comes in the form of Limbo, which is a puzzle platform from Studio Playdead. This game was launched exclusively on Xbox Live Arcade, and due to the monumental success seen there, would be ported to nearly all platforms, including PlayStation 3, Windows, and Linux machines. And basically today, Limbo is available on pretty much every single device that plays video games. Limbo was the 3rd highest selling Xbox Live Arcade title in 2010, selling 527,000 units, and also generated 7.5 million in revenue. Microsoft also listed Limbo as the 11th highest selling game to date on Xbox Live, and today now enjoys sales of over 3 million across all platforms. Limbo's success made possible because of Xbox's Summer of Arcade. It made it so others like Little Nightmare can exist with the success that they do. My final notable title, introduced to console gamers via Summer of Arcade, was one of my personal favorites, and that is the emotional and incredible game from Joseph Fares, known as Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which as of January 2015 has enjoyed 800,000 units in sales across all platforms. This game was very successful, and the studio would go on to put out A Way Out and the very well received title, which might end mine and my partner's relationship, It Takes Two. They really should have included a fixed camera angle for new gamers, but that's neither here nor there. These are just a few examples of how Microsoft and their Summer of Arcade program made indies where they are today. Some other incredible titles introduced through said program include Shadow Complex, Splosion Man, Geometry Wars, and so many other incredible titles. So make no mistake, Sony has also shown incredible love to indie studios as well, as has everyone else. But there is no denying that Microsoft gave indies a home and a spotlight in the console sphere before anyone else did. Indies would not enjoy the success that they do today amongst console gamers without them. I will leave my top indie games in the description below if you would like to check them out. Thank you for being with me here today at Enter Cheat Code. If you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Until next time.